Okay. Um, Hello everyone. So I am getting uh there's been lots of rhetoric going around the internet right now talking about nobody can afford a house. Oh, nobody can afford rent. Um, I'm going to do some math right now, right? So, uh let's say you're like I don't know, I'm just going to assume that you are like 17, 16, you're in high school. So currently your living conditions, you pay, uh, I'm gonna assume $0 because you live by yourself. So you don't lose any money. I don't know, you're living with your parents or whatever. Maybe some expenses you pay, like for jewel pods or whatever. That was popular back in the day, but like realistically, you don't have to pay anything. You're not paying rent. Maybe you just live with your mom. I don't know. Maybe just living with your dad. Maybe you're back and forth, but you have a living condition where you don't have monthly expenses that is covered by your parents, right? So if you're like 16, your living conditions $0, right? Pay $0. That is it. Now, 16, great, awesome. You can start working now, right? Live with your parents, start working a day job. Uh, do what I did if you did sports. Okay. So if you wake up at like 6 a.m. And you have school 7 to 3 o'clock, so 1500. After that, you have from 4 to whenever, let's say 10, to do extra activities, right? So, what I would do is I would go to my after school sports activities until 6, leaving 6 to 10 to do whatever, which normally includes homework and stuff like that. So, homework, that's when you eat dinner, do homework, projects, stuff like that. So, these 4 hours were really good at that. I would wake up at 6, do my before school stuff, school, do my after school stuff, and then go home and do homework. And then I got a nice 8 hours sleep if I planned everything properly. Granted, I was not mentally ready to do stuff like that, so I wasn't able to do that. So things had to change kind of. Anyways, if you do not do school, if you do school, if you're still in high school, you still do school, you have this time, this allotted time, these 6 hours to do what you want. You could either make some money, or you can, just smoke that green stuff, whatever it is, right? And be a loser. I'm admit it. If you do that stuff, you're a loser. You're just wasting money. We're just wasting time and everything. It's not the action of doing it. It's just the fact you're doing it rather than getting on that grind. So if you are addicted to substances, fast from it for at least like 2-3 weeks, and you will notice a great change in how you act. Anyways, that's besides the point. So as of right now, there's 6 hours per day you can be on that grind, right? And this is Monday through Friday, and then you could literally work 12 hours per day, Saturday and Sunday. Right, so it leaves you 36 plus 24, literally 50 hours, my guy. 50 hours of getting on that grind. Now, mathematically speaking, you're not gonna go school, work, sleep, school, work, sleep. You have other stuff to do, which is understandable. So typically, I find that in high school, if you really want to make money, your bosses will stick you to a 40-hour work week. But you also have to pay attention to taxes, which we'll get into later on. But mathematically speaking, you could be working 50 hours per week, and under current US law, that is at least, at minimum, 55 hours of pay per week, which is a decent amount of money, even from somebody who is not in high school and has living expenses. This is a good amount of money to be taken in, just logically speaking, right? Like, we might hours to be working per week, but 40 hours is pretty nice. Plus, you have homework and all that sort of stuff, hang out with friends, whatever. So let's put it this way, right? You're in high school, and you want to make some money. First things first, get off of stimulants and depressants. If you are on nicotine, drop that. If you're on caffeine, drop that. If you are smoking weed, this is one of the biggest expenses. If you drop this, you'll be saving a lot of money. Alcohol, it's more like a social thing. It's very strange how it operates. It varies depending on which group you're in. But this is a depressant. It will bring you down, and it will demotivate you from just life in general. So if you have problems regulating your emotions, unless you're very, very emotionally mature for being 16, 17, I would recommend not doing this either, because this will really mess with you if you keep on that. So you're in high school and you want to make some money, right? Let's go on Indeed jobs. Yes, I'm in this area, don't worry about it. Indeed jobs. For high school students. So just literally Google it. So, high school student jobs, employment. So this will just give you things that you can work at that's local. Store associate, yes. Minimum rate. Minimum wage is $7.25. But it will be very difficult for you to find a job that whose starting rate is $7.25. Even where I am, I mean, look at these prices: 15 to 18, 15 through 18, 11 through 15, 14 through 16, 10. That's not a lot, but it's remote. Like, you could, oh my god, you guys, $18 an hour, 50 grand a year, which is like 25 an hour for sales associate, a hairstylist. But like, granted, these need prior stuff, but like, even stuff like this, like urgently hiring, like within 2 weeks you will be working here if you live in this area in Minnesota. If you apply to here, you will be working here. They're urgently hiring. Like, you guys don't like understand. Like, people need labor. People need dumb labor. Like, that's what this job is: a store associate, stocking like Walmart. People who work at Walmart aren't necessarily stupid, but it is dumb labor. Not this stuff, but like this stuff: warehouse worker, retail associate, like stuff like that. This is, you know, like Votech stuff, clerk. It's like, this is dumb labor over here, and it is ridiculous how much people need this, how much people are just unwilling to work. What's another big one? Target is also guest associate. Cashier is paying $16 an hour. They want you to work here. 60. You go to federal minimum wage, it is over double just to, you know, stand at a cashier, which half of it you don't even need. People are too socially awkward to actually walk up to you and have small talk with you. Much rather just go to the self-checkout line. It is ridiculous. They want people to work there. It is 16 bucks. And then if they like you, they'll make you a team lead. Anyways, warehouse operations, 20 bucks an hour. You guys, people need workers. People want you to work. But it is just, oh my god. Like, if you are 16 and you want to make money, even working 20 hours a week, you work 20 hours a week. Let's say you work Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 hours, and then 8 hours on Saturday, right? Kind of an odd shift, but grocery stores are like that. If you work 20 hours at $16 per hour, you are raking in $320. That is before taxes. After taxes, it's gonna be like $250, which isn't a lot, but that's only for 20 hours of work. This will fly by like nothing. These 20 hours a week fly by like nothing. This is not even 1/8 of your week that you're just standing around a cashier making insane amounts of money for just standing around, making $250 a week for working half a full week. That is crazy, guys. You guys don't understand just how insane that is. Per month, this then translates per month, you're making about 1K a month. If you go back to what I was saying before, if you're 16 with zero expenses and you get off of those drug paraphernalia stuff, you're making about $1,000 per month, which is a good amount of money. Especially if you're at 16 years old. That right there is a good amount of money to be making. $1,000 for only 20 hours a week. Granted, you're still doing school, sports activities, whatever. You're still making money. Summertime, they will give you bonus hours, work 40 plus hours. Winter, especially during the during the height of the season, like around from Halloween to Christmas to like New Year's, really, they'll give you more hours. Like, it is insane how much these retail stores are just paying you. It is absolutely fanatical. Giant food clerk, 13 an hour, 14 an hour. I mean, even like daytime cashier, part-time, $12 an hour. Like, that is still, you're still racking about $200 a week just for being a cashier, a giant. You know, it is. People are willing to pay. There's not a shortage on the job market. People are just overqualified for jobs, which I have started seeing happening following the 2008 financial crisis. I have seen that start happening with like people with their bachelors in chemical engineering. They have to get their masters in oil refinement processing. I have seen that. Anyways, that's back when I was that's like 2014ish, 2013ish. Anyways, if you don't even need a GED, it's not even required to work these jobs. It is not required. They just want you to show up on time and just work, just stand around like a doofus, wearing, the cute little shirt or whatever, or like, the little Walmart vest that you have to put on, little name tag. That's all they care about. They just want you to stand there, and they will be paying you real, in-life money just to stand there. If you can pass the drug test, and you can show up to work on time, and not be a nuisance to everyone there, they will pay you just to stand around, and just become a cashier, just stand around, smile kind of. Like, that's all they really care about. How much is, what is it called? Wawa paying, actually. Fuel associate, that's for Jersey, yeah. Cashier, $16 an hour just to be a cashier. It is absolutely insane. Like, I've seen high school students work at Wawa or at Sheetz, which is actually paying $18.50 right now, which I think will be the new sort of bottom rate. Yeah, but that's for a supervisor position. But like the nearby Sheetz where I am, it's like a half-hour drive from me, unfortunately. But they pay like $18.50 starting rate. But like they require no skill. If you can like read a paper, as long as you're like literate and you kind of know how to count money, like you'll be fine. You don't have to do any of the math. You just scan the barcode. Become a cashier. They pay you $16 an hour just to stand there and, you know, look pretty. Excuse me. So let's say you change your course, right? You worked at this job for a year and a half, and you know you work at this job, become Mr. or Mrs. whomever. You have your little cap, you know, with the little thing hanging out the side, and you finally have your high school diploma, right? You finally have it. High school diploma. That's a D right there, right? You finally have your high school diploma. There are two paths you can take with this. You can either, you know, get into huge debt, take out massive loans, and go to university, or you can join the workforce and keep on working at your job, work somewhere else, or you join the army, well, military. I don't know much about this because I just don't. None of my family has served in the American Armed Forces. I don't have much experience in it, so I do not know. But I do have experience in this, and I have a lot of know-how about this with my friends and everything. So we'll be talking about these two mainly. Let's start with university, right? If you go to uni, first off, there's a couple of things you need to know. With loans, the banks will be more than happy to give you loans. But if you... the first caveat is you have to have a cosigner. And what that means, it cannot just be you, the student, going to uni. It has to be a parent or some adult that will help you co-sign, so that the loans do not get defaulted towards you, but rather towards them who actually have a credit score. That's the first big if, right? The second thing is if you default, those loans accrue interest as you go into university. I mean, not default. If you drop out, of school, it wouldn't stop for you. You don't like it. You drop out of school. Those loans still accrue interest over that semester, 2 semesters, 5 semesters, 7 semesters, however long you took in university. If you drop out, those loans still accrue in interest. You do not have to pay them if you're attending school. But if you drop out, you will then immediately have to start paying the loans within, I believe, 6 months. It will immediately start harboring on you. Now, I don't know the math all that well, but I've seen some crazy figures like $1,500 a month, which is insane for a loan. To get especially drop out and you don't have a degree, this is insane amount of money to be asking for per month. But they still do it anyways. That's one of the figure that I've seen. I'm pretty sure the number's close to like 800 or 900. You can correct me if you want. I don't care. I don't have student loan debt. But another big thing about it is defaulting. I'm not a financial expert, but if you have, if you own if you took out a bunch of loans, if you borrowed a lot of money from the bank, and you default on them, which means you're claiming, hey, I cannot pay these out, I'm going bankrupt. First, if your credit score drops significantly. You can't take any loans out for 7 years, but all of your debts will be repaid that you borrowed from the bank. Besides student loan debt, they will still ask for the money because it is a separate entity from when you default. There is no connection here. These are two separate things. They will still be asking you for this student loan every month, even if you declare bankruptcy, they will still ask for it. It's its own separate entity. So that is a terrifying 4-year minimum investment to then go into debt. You could have, if you're really fortunate, you could have someone pay for the loans and everything, but that is few and far in between. I'm assuming you're not the most financially well off. I'm assuming you're middle class, in which that means if you're in the middle class, if you're in the middle class, right? You're in the middle class. So, okay. So there's, for brevity's sake, there are 3 classes, right? There's lower. There is middle. And then there is upper. Now, how these different classes pay for loans. Lower, you have a lot of GA. You have a lot of government assistance, right? I believe if your monthly income is less than 65,000, not monthly, less than 55,000 a year, your yearly income is less than that, then the feds will pay for whatever loan that you have. They will give you grant money, pretty much paying for all the loans that you could ever, at least you're getting your bachelor's, right? So by lower, I mean less than 65K a year. Then the feds will step in. It's like, hey, go to college. Which the feds are really good at. They say, hey, you are disenfranchised. We want to get you part of the system. Here, have some money. All right. If you're upper class, there is no government assistance at all because you have so much money, right? So here, the line is very formative. Like, hey, if you were under this line, which is $65,000 a year, then you get money, right? Line's kind of blurred here. Upper class, what I mean by that is you can go to whatever university you want, and the parents, well, not your parents, but the wealth specifically will pay for that. So you can go to whatever, as long as you're convinced whomever is paying you to go to college to give you loan money, they will pay for it, and you do not have to take out any loans. Loans are not necessary because you're in upper class and you have the money. The middle class gets screwed over. If you know a family that's making $95,000 a year, they cannot afford. They are above the line for government assistance. But if they have 3 kids, they're not paying for all their colleges. I hope you guys realize that. This family with double income, 3 kids, they cannot pay for that, so they are necessitated to take loans. They have to take loans if all 3 kids are going to college. It is a necessity because the government's not going to pay for it because they are above the threshold. The parents are not going to pay for it because they got 3 kids going to college. You know, hell, if you divvy that up 3 ways, that's about 32 grand per year. Also, especially like liberal universities or like private Catholic schools, cost way more than that much per year. If all 3 kids go to like some fancy liberal arts school, the parents cannot afford that. It is a necessity they take loans on top of, and that's not including like mortgage or whatever, electricity bill, other loans parents have. It is a necessity they take a loan. So the middle class is very screwed in this sense. Lower class will get benefited by the feds. Upper class get benefited by their inherited wealth. But the middle class gets very much screwed over for this system here. And we've already talked about the risk for a university and all that. So my point being is, if you do have a passion in university, you do study well, university may be great for you. You need to understand the risk, though, that you're taking out these loans, because they will not default. Next step. Workforce. If you have all 10 fingers, you have, which implies you have both limbs. You're not crippled in a diseased or any physical way. You cannot get government benefits for being disabled, which the government also does a really good job of making sure you're disenfranchised. But because you're able to work, because you have the capability to work, you need to go to work or go to school or join the army or whatever. I will be talking about the workforce now. Because you have all 10 fingers, because you have 2 legs that move, because you have feet with soles on them, you have the capability to work. There are so many jobs that will hire you if you just have a GED. Not like an engineer or an editor for a newspaper, but like just physical labor jobs. And I'm talking to men specifically. I believe, especially if you're upper middle class, one of the best things you can do if you're single is just join the workforce. I don't mean join a trade or become part of like a moving crew. I mean, if you're a young man, you don't want to go to university, but you want to work, one of the best things you can do is find a really, really crappy factory job. And for just a year or two, understand how it is working the factory life. Now, why do I say this? First off, there's 1 to 2 years of just waking up at 6 a.m. and not going to school, but rather using your body, like understanding that your limbs are tools, will completely change how you look at not only yourself but also the world. Looking at your body as sort of a formidable tool will really change how you look at just labor in general. The pay doesn't need to be great, but it needs to be decent. So there are a lot of places right now in my area. I'm not sure about other areas, but my area that are paying base rate of $18.50 per hour. This is a really nice number for just having a high school diploma or a GED, which companies cannot discriminate against at all. It is like federal law; they cannot discriminate between that. between these two at all. These two are the exact same in the eyes of any company. Even if you dropped out of high school, got your GED later on, they are the exact same. They mean the exact same thing. Even if you applied to university later on in life, they will waive whatever grades you got in either one just to accept you. These are the exact same thing, no matter how you look at it. Anyways. Sorry, schizophrenic brain. Let me think about what I'm going to say here. You will get used to not only assembly line work, so working in a production line, but you also understand supply chain from a business side. Not from an academia side, like, oh, I'm going to go to university, major, and get my associates in supply chain management. No. In a business side, as in, yeah, I was there, I watched the things go in, I watched them undergo a functionality, and I watched them come out different. That is the essence of what supply chain is. And if you look at this from a manufacturing side, that is completely different than looking at it from a, oh, I have a fancy paper saying I studied this. No, this is completely different. If you were there on the line, this makes sense to you. You don't have a paper saying that. You have, hey, I understand this concept now because I've worked in it for X amount of years. Granted, you're still a kid at that point. But there's another reason why this is so important to you. Let's do some more math. If you find a job, let's say where it pays $18 an hour, right? That translates to $36,000 a year, if you're on single income, right? This does not look like a lot of money, and that's okay. It's not supposed to be. At this point in your life, if you're 18 or 19 years old, you're not going to be making $120,000. It will be many decades until you reach this point, if you so choose, because this is just beyond anything else. It's not possible unless you get lucky, unless luck plays a factor in it. This is normal for somebody this age. Very normal. When you graduate high school, if your parents keep you in the house, that is fantastic. If they keep you in the house for these 1 or 2 years, they keep you here, you know, there's your little bedroom window, maybe you live up in the attic, I don't know. But if you remain in this house for 1 to 2 years, making that much, just saving up, you're on that grind, you're taking in overtime hours, making that extra money, whatever it is. Within 1 to 2 years, you have $70,000. I don't think people have connected the dots here yet. This ellipses dot here yet. But that's enough for a down payment on a house. At age 20, you can purchase a house with your own money. Not purchase entirely, just put a down payment on it. But at 20 years, when your colleagues, people you graduated high school with, are currently that much in debt, like negative at minimum, like 70,000 in debt because of interest and all that, even going to like a cheaper school because of interest and negative 70,000 in debt, you saved up that much for a nice down payment on a house. At 20 years old. Like, you guys gotta realize that a lot of what you see online, a lot of panicking about, oh, I can't afford this, that, houses, rent prices are increasing. If you're in high school, you're succumbing to fear that is not necessary. Let's look at house prices right now. Max. Yeah. Albany. Let's look at Albany, New York, right? So, yeah, looks about right. Yeah, Albany, upstate New York. Real estate and homes for sale. 3 bed, 2 bath, 265. All right, this is recorded like 3 p.m. 1/14/2024. As someone used to, you know, work in home remodeling and construction, this is a really, how's that bathroom? The bathroom is dated, but this is a nice place. Ooh, gas stove, that's nice. Especially leave appliances there too. It is a little cramped, but 3 bed, 2 bath. 2 full baths, which is nice. Built 1915, yeah, that explains it. Not a lot of land. 265. If you put down, with that 70K, you put down 50 on it, right? Let's say you buy it for 270. Just some random house to pick out in Albany, New York, right? You could try this for like any other house. You know, they're all in like the mid 200 to 300 range. These are just rentals. We don't worry about them. If you put down 50K, if you buy the house, if you negotiate, you purchase for 270 because it's a seller's market, right? It's a seller's market right now. Put down 50K on it, right? Out of your 70K initial, you put down 50K on this 270K house, minus 50. That leaves you 220 of a mortgage you have to pay off over 30 years. Loan amount. Yeah, I mean, 30-year fixed interest, that is a nice interest. Monthly payment of $1,509. Right, this interest is like really high, by the way. I have no idea why the interest rate is so high. Yeah, it used to be, when I bought my house currently, it was like 4% or 5% or something. Anyways, it's up to 7% now. $1,500 mortgage payment, right? Actually, you got like that much credit score. Yeah, it's about right. $1,500 monthly payment, right? You're working some factory job in like the local area, like Newtonville, or out over here. There's like some local place you're working at, like a factory job that really sucks. But hey, you're right next to the park, you know, it's a nice little place. Whatever, right next to the synagogue. If you're Jewish, you know. There's a church over here if you're Christian. Whatever, right? You work at some sucky factory getting paid $18 an hour. And you finally own a house. $1,500 monthly payment, right? $1,500 per month. I will show you guys something pretty cool, right? This house, 2 full baths, 3 bedrooms. You, as a person, as a man, as a woman, as a dude, as whomever, only needs 1 bedroom. You only need to sleep in 1 bedroom. You might want a 2nd bedroom to store all of your stuff in, but you can allow 2 of your buddies to move in with you, splitting it 3 ways at $500 a month between the 3 of you. Maybe they're university students that are looking for some place to rent, you know, go back to the whole university thing. This is cheaper than like university rates in the local Albany area, you know. Maybe they're going to, I don't know, some universities nearby. Maybe there's some Albany med school and they want to pay for rent. You know, this would be the cheaper option for them, just splitting it 3 ways. So, in the end, yes, you have this $1,500 a month mortgage, but you're only paying $500 a month for it. And you own the house, paying $500 a month that you own in 30 years. Now, if you add an additional $500 a month on top of this, I'll speak from experience right now, you will own the house completely, not within 30 years, but about 10 to 15 years. Let me rephrase that, right? In 10 to 15 years, you will completely own a 3-bed, 2-bath house. In 10 to 15 years. As in, the house you bought at 20 years old will be paid off in 10 to 15 years. As someone with no college degree, you will own a house at 30 or 35 years old, working the same old factory job. Now, no college degree, fully owning a house, as in often pays property taxes and homeowner insurance, just the escrow, the monthly escrow. Actually, yearly escrow at that point, yeah. You have to pay a monthly stipend to the banks. The reason why you paid off so much earlier is because you pay off that initial sum sooner, and another great thing about paying off an extra $500 on top of that is you don't pay as much in interest, not nearly as much interest as you would going for the 30-year loan. Ooh, that was nice. So, let's see what we have here, right? At 30, let's say 33 years old, you will have no college degree, be working a factory job, working on the line, and you will fully own a house. Like, fully. This is under a lot of assumptions, right? First off, it's under the assumption that, you know, you undergo the extra $500 a month, which seems like a lot right now, but it is not that hard to incorporate that into your bills, especially if you have other people chipping in. The factory job. A lot of them, if you work hard enough, you get increases in pay, and you get management positions very easily, especially if you're young and you show ambition right at the gate. These two things are huge, especially for young men. They will hand these out if you show that you are willing to become like a good part of the team. These two things are massive, and companies like to see people that work hard because they will benefit you. They're not just out there to just scam you, right? They will help you out if you ask for help. Is it going for 48 minutes? I sure hope not. Jeez. No college diploma, right? This is another big thing, right? So, I mentioned before that if you're out of high school, one of the paths you can go down is getting your college degree, right? And you're in a dorm with other, college freshmen, and, you're enjoying your life, all 18, 19 years old, you all like functional alcoholics or whatever. But you don't have to go the same exact route. I hinted at it before. You can go somewhere else, go mess around, and then come back for college diploma. And they don't track that. They just care you're applying to college. They only care about the action of you applying to college in the end, because they want the money too. College is a business now. They will take your money happily, and if you spend 4 years with them, they will feel obligated to give you that college degree, right? One of the places that you can get your college degree from is from working. A lot of businesses will offer tuition reimbursement. A lot of good businesses, if you're on good terms with them, and they will help you with this, it is not that hard to convince them that you will need tuition reimbursement or work study stuff or whatever, take classes. Work will do that for you. That is how desperate businesses are, want to hire people, because the job market right now is absolutely insane. In January of 2024 is absolutely insane how the job market is right now. So they will pay for your college degree if it relates to how you work. So if you want to work in supply chain, they will pay for your macro and micro. They will pay for your what is it? Not your history, but like your language arts. So your literary stuff for like communications, public speaking, rhetoric classes. They'll pay for your math courses. Like, if you can convince them, they will pay for these courses entirely. If you say, hey, I'm doing it for the company, hey, I can do it for like 4 years, because they will pay for it as long as you work for them for those 4 years. Then they'll pay for that degree almost entirely. On top of giving you raises, on top of giving you like promotions and everything. That's how desperate work is for workers. The job market is absolutely insane. That's the level of insanity we're at. Work will pay for a college degree while working, as long as you stick with them for 4 years. Don't listen to these fear mongers saying, housing is in a collapse right now, no one's hiring, rent is going up in price. Like, these people are absolutely insane. They do not know what they are talking about. They have not actually, worked a physical labor job. Hell, working working as a carpenter, working construction right now, just building frames for decks or for new houses, pay like $26 an hour. And it's not that hard getting hired there. There are a couple of tricks you could do, but you know, as long as you don't have soft hands, you should be fine. $26 an hour at 19 years old is crazy. Like, these people are just, oh, these things are just so out of proportion. Yes, because you have a college degree in like literary sciences, and you have this bachelor's in like absolutely nothing, and now you're stuck paying this insane amount of debt per month, and no one's willing to hire you because they only want to hire people that have their master's degree. And these factory workers won't hire you because they have an obligation to pay you even more. That doesn't make any sense. They rather pay someone that's underqualified than overqualified, because then the hourly rate will be less. Anyways, it is absolutely insane. So you could literally, you know, let's say 22, you want to go back and get your degree, right? Working this job for 4 years. Say, hey, I want to spend these 4 years getting this degree in, let's say engineering, right? I can commute to classes, I can do it online, and after 4 years, as long as you guys pay for it, I will get this degree, right? So after 4 years, you come out, let's say you're 27, right? You got this college degree, this bachelor's in mechanical engineering. This college degree is fully paid for. You have no obligation at all to stick with this job. Once you have this degree handed to you at 27 and 8 years working at this job at whatever position you're in finally, because you're not going to be stuck in the same position for 8 years. I'm telling you that much right now. You'll be moved around, especially if you're working on a degree. You'll be doing other stuff too. You can take that degree, 8 years of factory experience, and your young age with your ambition and drive. Take all that and just go somewhere else. Say, hey, I want to become an engineer at some other job. And they will take you. It's like, wow, you have your degree. On top of that, you have 8 years of factory experience, and you're willing to stay for us? That is insane. You have no obligation to be stuck here at work. This cycle that I've drawn here, this flow rate, you know, at this point, you're over halfway through paying your mortgage. You know, your roommates have moved out. You could just move in other people, or you're married, so you have double income. You're just a dink at this point. Double income, no kids. It is absolutely insane that no one's talking about, because no one has any sort of drive to promote this, you know, besides maybe some work saying, hey, pay for a degree. But colleges will not promote this, because you're not going to university straight out of high school. You're not getting that initial loan. You're not taking out loans to pay off those years in college. The military, one of their biggest driving factors right now is you will get, what's that called? That grant that's called, I forget. But they'll say, hey, we'll pay for your education as long as you come serve us for like 8 years. I think it's up to 6 years now, the obligation. But it is like this path from 18, 19, working this factory job and just grinding out for those few years, you know, and you do not have to just, you know, I'll put this way, right? You do not have to slave over 12 hours a day working here. You could be making a lot of money. They'll be making 72 hours per week. You do not have to do that. You could just stick to what the old union people said, the old workers' rights. 8 hours work, 8 hours work, and then 8 hours leisure. That 8 hours of leisure, I have no idea how to spell that word, you can break it up so many different ways. Those 8 hours of leisure. You can work out, you can get a second job, if you really want to grind, just working as a cashier or whatever, if you want to get on that grind. You can just do your own little side project, like I'm actually doing Python. Right now I'm learning Python, which is why I have this spider terminal opened up. But yeah, it is absolutely insane. Like, this 8-hour leisure part is crucial. You don't have to work 12 hours a day, like slaving away. Yeah, I probably should block that out, yeah. You don't have to spend 12 hours a day slaving away. Yes, you make tons of money. That is 40 hours plus, what's that, 32 times half. That is literally like 86 hours or something of work. Someone correct me if I'm wrong in that. Yeah, it is 86 hours of paid labor, which is insane. Especially working like $20 an hour. That converts to $1,700 before taxes a week. You do not have to do that. That cycle is completely separate. You could just pick up a second job, work out, Python, do a whole combination of these things, or just, raise a family. Do volunteer work too. That's another big thing. You have to do volunteer work as well. Feed the homeless once a month. Whatever. Just do something to help out the community. But all this fear-mongering over, the job market being sucky right now, it's not sucky right now. You just refuse to work. You just have a poor work ethic. If you really cared, if you really wanted to work, if you really want to make money, if you really want to survive, you would work. Anyways, I think that about does it. I believe I've ranted on enough. If you want to hear more tips and tricks from yours truly, just comment and I will, talk about it. But I believe that's it for me, yeah. I'll probably make a second video expanding on some stuff, but please do comment and tell me what I've missed. Thank you.